We'll talk about insurance with Alexandre from La Parisienne. And the topic will be insurance from the use of triggers to autonomic payments of claims. So please join us on the execution stage to talk about insurance. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So it's a pleasure to be with you today. La Parisienne, with the name, is a French insurer, but we are mainly a digital insurer. It means that all our products are developed through APIs and are distributed through APIs. We are today in 13 European countries, but we intend to go globally very rapidly, probably next year. And of course, just to give you some figures, we went from 50 million euros of GWP to 400 million in less than 5 years. So we are what is called a scalable business right now. And we have more than 200 partnerships, active partnerships today, going from Yamaha to well-known startups such as Zigo, just to give you some example. So why a partnership with Sigfox? Sigfox today is a well-known brand, but most of all, we share the same DNA. Sigfox is in more than 60 European countries, 1 billion users, and it is low cost, the network is reliable, it is very important for us. And there is also a very pragmatic approach that can help us to create new types of insurance through triggers. Because parametric insurance, and you were mentioning before, you can be reimbursed automatically. Clearly, you need trigger to do that. And you need to have a very strong partner behind to do it. And that's why we decided to work with Sigfox. And what we wanted to do first is to disrupt the urban mobility industry. And to do so, you need to be very pragmatic. So I will show you a short video after at the end of the presentation, but you need to have a sensor to detect that your vehicle is in motion. And you need to have an ecosystem, the API, the zero-G network, the blockchain to automatically reimburse people. And of course, it must be, at a certain extent, very cheap. So you need to have minimal cost. So how does it work? We have created a white label front end to help people to register and to subscribe to the product. And then once the vehicle is live and you have your sensor, you don't do anything. It is working immediately. So it's very smooth. And of course, mobility is one side, but we can do it also in the travel industry with tracking of luggages, for instance. We can do the equivalent in the home insurance business and also in the health insurance business. So sky is the limit. And I propose you to see the video right now.
Hi everyone, good to see you. I was actually about to try the car insurance I subscribed to. I just received the IoT device. Come on, let's go inside. So, from what I understand, all I have to do is put this somewhere in my beautiful French car. Like in the glove compartment, for example. Once I start driving, the insurance automatically starts running until I stop driving. All right, let's go explore Paris.
I work at La Parisienne, and I would now like to show you what is happening in the back office of La Parisienne while our policyholder is driving. Firstly, on the Sigfox network, each sensor is registered through a unique number so that we are able to follow everything that happens in the life cycle of this sensor. Every time the vehicle starts or stops, we collect the information so that we are able to calculate the insurance premium. It's important to note that we only collect these two very simple messages, which allow us to reduce the impact on data privacy. For each message, our APIs are used. All the products of La Parisienne are available through an API portal. We've got more than 30 different products live inside this portal. The car usage-based insurance product that we are using now is already in there. Each service is described on the left side of the page. The interface is presented using Swagger format, allowing developers to easily understand our APIs. error codes are explained and sample codes are provided to ease integration for our partners. We've got all the different services with the different events that we are collecting inside the life cycle of the contract. And every time the vehicle starts, we create a bill that is stored inside our blockchain. Our back office uses a private implementation of Ethereum called Quorum. Here we can see all the transactions which correspond to the different journeys of the policyholder. This Blocks Explorer of Ethereum is compatible with both private and public versions of Ethereum. As of today, we are managing transactions in fiat. That's why the Ether balance remains 0 as we use Quorum. When I refresh the page, the new transaction appears with its cost of only 2 cents. This is also available on the client's app. Let's now see how it looks.
I managed to park the car. The insurance isn't running anymore since I stopped driving. Now I can check my trips on the app. I log in. In one click, I can access my trips and fares. I refresh the page. And as you can see on the screen, I paid 2 cents for this small tour around Paris. I love this technology. Shout out to La Parisienne Assurance.
So we discussed a little bit about mobility, right? And obviously cars, motorbike. But what are the other medium of mobility that you can also cover?
Well, when we are talking about mobility, of course, you are mentioning bikes and e-scooters, and it's something relevant and useful because when you hire an e-scooter in a big town, a big city, you never ask whether you're insured or not. So that's a point that is very useful for people, in fact, even if they don't know it yet. But the other types of mobility we can do with IoT, we're mentioning the travel business with the luggages. Once you have lost your luggage, it's very useful to know that you can track them and that you're insured also, even for the delay of arrival of your luggage. So that's the type of thing we're thinking about. And after that, you can do everything. You can do buses, you can do trains. So it's just imagination in the end and real insights from consumers that put some limits on it. But there are no technical limits or actuarial limits behind it.
And during your presentation, you also talk a little bit about smart contracts.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about it? How does that work?
Yeah. Smart contracts, in fact, it's the complicated things that you never see and that seems simple. So it's sort of paradox. Well, let's take the example of the car. The smart contract, it's your car is moving, point A. Then it sends us the information. The vehicle is moving during, let's say, 10 minutes. Okay, it's worth, let's say, €1. And then there is the billing, and so the invoice is €1 for the final customer. So it's a simple relation, and you need to have very relevant triggers, and it must be reliable. And we do it, let's take another example in the flight industry. Your flight has 1 hour or 2 hours of delay. We have a database that sends us this information, and then we generate the claim settlement immediately.
So you also mentioned, like, when you were doing for the cars,
Yeah.
a lot of people look at the distance, but you look at the time, right? So it's slightly different. You look at how long people have been driving.
Yeah. Today we are looking very simple, we'll say, figures to make the quotation. So there is the distance, and above that, the time limitation. We could have been further in types of data collected. Lots of insurance players try to go very deep in the analysis, depending on data of GPS, the limitation, the regulation between law enforcement and what is law or not. We didn't want to do that. First of all, because we didn't really need it to price the product, first answer. And the second is the data privacy limitations. For us, it is not necessary.
So you are staying on the time and not so much on which district I'm driving,
No.
which day, which time. You don't go to that level of details, just time.
For us, it is not necessary. And that's where the Sigfox model is very interesting, because you can just have the right data.
And I think a lot of insurance are pretty local. And interestingly, you're in more than a dozen of countries already in Europe. Can you tell us more about your plan to be more global insurance?
Yeah, you're right. I was mentioning it in the presentation, and that's why also we are working with Sigfox, who has global DNA. Our idea is to be a preferred partner in B2B2C model. So either you work for a global group already established in different countries, or either you work for a local startup that is aiming at the world and that wants to become a scale-up. You need to be able to be close to them everywhere. So the type of products we are now building, we build these products saying, okay, is it replicable? Is it scalable in terms of technology, in terms of simplicity? And then once you have the product that is global, once you have your partners that are global, you need to be global. So that's how we see things.
And so yesterday we discussed also a little bit about the democratization of insurance. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, I don't want to be rude with other insurers, either to be not to be arrogant, but insurers are making a lot of money without changing anything. I mean by that, let's take the example of the travel industry business. Usually when you want to buy a travel insurance, you pay a package. So you have a lot of stuff that you will never use. And then each distributors and people in the value chain take a commission. In the end, you pay an incredible amount of money for nothing. And what we're doing is that we slice only the relevant warranties after interviewing the final customer, and we do the parametric business. So we keep only in the value chain what is useful for the customer. And in the end, we do things differently. It's more simple, it is more transparent, and that's why we think that digital insurers, like La Parisienne, have a sort of role and mission to be transparent toward the final customer and to save its money. It might be paradoxical, but we want to save people's money.
No, I think it's interesting to see what you do, because a lot of insurance, my feeling is what they try to do is to not pay you the money back. They try to make sure the claim are painful, the claim are limited in time, they kind of lost your folder. And I think it's an interesting approach where you try to kind of, how can I pay you back without doing anything?
Yeah.
So I think that is a very unique, and I can also, you mentioned the sharing the DNA with Sigfox, but I think maybe you share a little bit of DNA with AWS, who's also looking at having the client to pay less, so which is a little bit counterintuitive.
Absolutely, it was a discussion we had yesterday, and that's the type of references we have in mind. We are not an insurer as such. We are a provider, an enabler, and we consider that to be an enabler in this game is to provide people what they need, either a partner or the final customer.
So just to dive a little bit on, you mentioned the travel part, right? And you always get the airline who try to sell you insurance, and the reason is simple, is because they make a lot of margin on that part, almost more than putting you from point A to point B. But also often people pay with a credit card, and sometimes your credit card also cover part of the travel insurance. Do you think in the future we can see the fact that you can extract data from my credit card and just tell me what is needed on top of it?
Yes, definitely. Today, the technology is ready for that type of thing, so it makes definitely sense. We don't want to bill people twice for a warranty that they already have.
So how will you see the insurance of tomorrow? What do you think tomorrow will be the experience for on the B2B and or B2C side of the future of insurance?
The future of insurance is that in 2, 3, 5 years, the way people consume insurance will be equivalent to what they do in their daily lives when they see Netflix or they consume Spotify. It's on demand, it's based on technology, it's based on benefits, so it means that lots of traditional incumbents at one point or another will totally change or disappear, and that a new generation of digital insurer will appear. And we firmly believe that what we are doing today at La Parisienne is to become the first global digital insurer, because there are local champions, as you were mentioning it, but no full digital global insurer today. There are digital There are global insurers, but not global digital insurers.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Alexandre.
Thanks a lot.
If you want to ask any question to Alexandre, we're running a little bit out of time now, but he's getting his booth just behind that way, so you can just join them here and ask him any question about insurance. And I guess nobody liked to do the claims, so if you're in Europe, I think it's maybe a good company for you to consider for answering you. Thank you, Alexandre.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.